Hi, in this class of GSM, we will study GSM Drive test. So, drive test is a procedure to capture all radio parameters with the help of a software. So, why drive test is required? So, drive test is required to check performance of network. So, I can say that this performance of network, that means performance of cells. So to check individually performance of cell as well as the network, we require a process which is drive test procedure. Because our main aim is to have good network performance, so we require to check out performance of a network on a daily basis or after a certain interval of time. So for this type of processes, to check out performance of the cells as well as network, we require a procedure of testing, and that procedure of testing is known as drive testing procedure. So coming on to drive test, we have mainly three types of drive test. First one is site level drive test. Then we have cluster level drive test. And then we have market level drive test. So we have divided our drive test into three categories. As very first is we have site level, then we have cluster level and market level. As cell or a site is a basic unit, or I can say it is a fundamental unit of a network or a smallest unit of a network, we have a site or a cell. So after that, group of cells combine together and form a cluster, and number of clusters combined and form a market. So that's why level of drive test is also from the lowest level to the highest level. That means we will start from the site level, then cluster level and market level. So let's understand very first level, which is a site level drive test. So single site. So this is my site 1. Now in site level drive test, we require to capture all the parameters, or we require to check out the performance of this single site only. So what are the parameters? That means we require to check out what are its coverage, what are its power, what are its RX level. So what we have to stay at one point and we require to rotate like this. Now this direction, that means driving direction, could be anti-clockwise or it could be clockwise. So I can say that DT direction, this drive test direction could be clockwise or it could be anti-clockwise. So what I require to measure the parameters of a single site itself, but I require to move around this site. So why I require to move around this site? Because it is required to have a handover from one cell to another cell. So if you are passing from this alpha, beta and gamma, so if we are passing from alpha to beta or beta to gamma, is that handover is successful or not? So parameters which are specifically related to a single site, and also we require to check out the connections in the shelter room, whether the antennas are properly connected to the BTS, feeder jumper wires are properly configured. So we are checking only a single site. So this level of drive test is known as single site level drive test. And also the optimization of a single site, as we have if we have some problems in this site, the optimization of this particular single site will be site level optimization. Now as cluster, now let's move to cluster, and cluster is a group of cells. So if this is my one area, and in this area I have like 4 cells. Like this is my site 1, site 2, then I have site 3 and site 4. So this is my cluster 1. So in this cluster 1, that means a group of cells, I have 4 sites, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, first we require to define the roots. That okay, we have root from this, then we have a root. Like we have the roads connectivity, and also we have number of throughways also connecting these sites. So that means in this, which is cluster level drive testing, we require to first define the route from which we have to derive. So that route should cover, that means route which we have defined, that is required to cover our national highways as well as the throughways. So that means we are covering the users on the national highway as well as in between, that means through normal users in the throughways. So we require to cover up, so we are defining first the route and then we have to derive the area. So in driving, what are the parameters that we require to find out? We require to find out handover. We require to check out the frequency plan. We require to check out interference. So we are checking the parameters which are required for moving from one end to another end. So we are moving from one side to another side, handover, power level, handover failure, why failure, call setup success rate is there or not. So that means we are checking each and every parameters which are required for moving in those areas. So this is drive test, which is of cluster level, is cluster level drive test. And the optimization which are required to do in this part, in this cluster, is cluster level optimization. Now let's move to next one, which is a market level. So I have a complete area. So that complete area is divided into number of clusters. We can have so I have 3 clusters and I require to move between sites. That means we are changing my clusters, and we have different frequency plans if in a cluster. So we require to check out the various handovers and frequency parameters in this market level. So this is the biggest level drive test in which we require to cover up the whole area. But the smallest unit, that means we require to start site, we require individual site level drive test, then we require individual cluster level, and then we require, or then we focus on market level drive test. And the optimization of this complete area is market level optimization. So these are the type. So why we require to check out, to measure all the parameters in the radio part, which is the radio network. So let's start with the very first, that means the single site verifications. So we are starting with the topic which is single site verification process. So this is single site verification process in which we require to start, and after start we have a level. Now after start we have a level, and that level is preparation work. Which means that we require to prepare for the drive test. In this, we require to prepare tools. What are the tools that we require? We require to define test methods. So first we are preparing with tools, then we have test methods, then we require to define test routes. That means the proper area of the path which we require to check. After that, we require to check parameter configurations. That what are the configurations we have, and we have to check. Then we require to confirm site status. So this is our preparation work which we require to check out before our drive test. Now next move to the next, which is single site verification phase. Now we are moving to our main phase, and that phase is single site verification phase. Now what are the parameters that we require in this phase is first of all basic verification. That means to check out all the parameters, so all the hardware. So that is basic verification. After basic verification, we have to check out antenna feeder, or we require antenna feeder verification. So we are verifying the antenna and the feeder connections in our system. We require to check out call completion verification, whether we have initiated a call, is the call will be completed or not. We have RX level. We require to measure RX quality and handover. So these are the site level verification process in which we require to verify each and every. Now if these are the parameters are okay, then we have yes. That means my drive test is okay or good. That means after resultant of this verification process, I can get a resultant yes. But if no, that any of the parameter is not correct, then we require adjustment. Then after adjustment, what we require to check out, or we require to start again. So this is a cyclic process. That means we require to verify each and every parameter, and then we have to start if any parameter is failure. Now prepare tools. So very first in site verification process, like we have to move from this. So under prepare tools, what we require to prepare for? Or what are the tools that are required for drive test? So we require a car for driving. We require a GPS, global positioning system. Then we require DT software. Like TEMS, NEMO we can use, like I'm given here TEMS. So we want TEMS kit. We require phone to call. So these are the things that means we require to prepare for the tools. Now we require to define the test methods. Like whether we have number of test methods we will discuss after this. So we require to define test methods. After that, we require to define the route, that okay, I will go from this area to this, then I will cover from this, and then again this. Remember, from which point you are starting, we require to end at that point itself. So that's why starting point and end point should be same. So after that we are checking, okay, parameter configurations. There are 3 TRX cards. Site status. Where is the site? So basic verification, we are checking the hardware okay, power supply okay. We are checking antenna feeder connections. We have call completion verification. I have initiated a call, whether the call is completed or not. We are checking RX level. We are checking their RX quality and handover. Okay, then my process of single site verification is completed. If not, then I have to start again that what are the problems why verification is not completed or accurate. Now let's move to the next, which is test methods. Now, what are the test methods? Like we have idle, short call and long call test methods. Idle, we have a long call and we have short call test methods. So test methods are divided into 3: idle, long call and short call. Now one idle method is used. It is used to record condition at the idle state. Record condition at idle state. That means sitting idle and we require to record the parameters. So we are checking out the parameters like interference, carrier to interference in idle state. We are not connected to the network. That means we are not calling, but stay we are capturing or we are recording each and every parameter from the network, that what is the interference level, what are the quality, what is the level that I am receiving. Now show this long call method is there to check out retainability and mobility of network. That means how much efficient network is to retain a call is under retainability during mobility also. So retainability and mobility of network is checked during a long call. Then in short call, why short call is there? Short call is there to check out accessibility and again mobility of network. So whether idle state or long call or short calls, that means we require to check out retainability and mobility in long call. When we are moving, how much the network is efficient is to retain my call is retainability. Accessibility during a short call, I am accessible to have a call, so that is accessibility. So these are the test methods that we require to define. Next we have definition of test routes. So in this we have definition of test routes. So first we will start with urban areas. Now these urban areas has an average distance of 300 to 1000 meters. So we have in this we have average distance which is 300 to 1000 meters. Now we require that this will cover roads, streets. It is required to cover all the major routes and the streets. So why we require to cover streets? Because local customer travel here. So for local customer travel, we require to cover up the streets as well as the roads in the complete network. Like I have a sites. And a drive tester is beginning here. So this is my begin point. So it required to cover this. If this is the major road, then if there is some street. So we require to cover this. So where is my test site? That means the site from which I have started. So if this is my test site, so I started driving from here. So if I'm covering the major area, then I require to complete at this point because I have started from this point. So this is the test route, definition of test route in urban area. Now let's move to the next, which is suburban areas. Now in suburban areas where average distance is 1 to 5 kilometer, because population density is less, so distance is more. So I have taken the average distance as 1 to 5 kilometer. So that means in suburban areas I have wide roads. So against the methodology that from sites we have to cover each and every area, but the distance matter and the road size vary. Like we have wide areas or wide roads in suburban. So if I go to a large cities, I have compact streets and compact roads. So this is about definition of test route. So in this class, we have started with single level verification test and we have studied about defining routes and checking the parameters of DT. We will continue with DT in our next class. Thank you so much.